All right, Coach, fresh off the first win of the season. Probably feels... All right, Coach. Hey, Jaden, it's Mike. Yep. Okay.
And then we'll have weather. Do you want to go out right after weather?
Yeah.
open that up and send you the board so you can hear it.
Okay.
Only bronze when it's on the vine. Handful of thorns when you know you've missed it. Lose your love when you say the word mine. Mine. Bottles around. 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 Bottles around.
660 Keys News Radio weather.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michael. Partly cloudy and hazy tonight, lows in the mid-50s. For tomorrow, a mixture of sunshine and clouds, still kind of smoky, and maybe a shower in the afternoon. Highs in the low 80s. A few showers possible again on Friday, highs in the mid-70s. Grandpa's barbecue sauce, made in small batches from Grandpa's original recipe. Get yours now at grandpasbbqshop.com. Currently at 79.
It's time for another edition of Teton Volleyball on your exclusive home for Teton Athletics. Join us as we bring you every bump, set, and spike as the Tetons battle their way through the Mondat Conference. Let's send it over to your voice of the Tetons, Mike Reuter.
Hey there, sports fans. Mike Reuter coming to you live once again from the Well in Williston about 12 minutes before we get ready for this Mondat Conference matchup between the Williston State Tetons and the NDSCS Wildcats. It should be a good one. Wildcats, a very good and very deep team out on the court. Tetons fresh off their first win of the season, looking to go for 2 in a row and jump up in the Mondat Conference standings. Tetons currently 4th with a 1-1 conference record. They are 1 game back of Lake Region State. They can pull ahead of them by going 2-1 with a win here tonight, but they have a very tall task in front of them. We talked about the first win of the season with head coach Caitlin Mooter just a few minutes ago. We'll send you off to those comments right now.
All right, Coach, fresh off the first win of the season, probably feels pretty good to get the monkey off the back. The girls played well. What was kind of the shift from the first game we saw here at home to last night?
Well, last night we started off a little bit rough, but I think from the first game of the season to now, we've just really upped our communication skills. We kind of know our roles a little bit more. And defensive-wise, we've really proved that we are a strong defensive team, and I think we really showcased that last night.
And on the defensive end, you have Alyssa in the back row. She has one of the highest digs per set in the conference. She's shown out well, as well as Maya and Michelle. They were playing fantastic defense in the back row. How important is that for that back unit is solidified by 3 sophomores?
Well, it's such an important role, and we don't take that lightly. We knew that defense was really going to be our secret weapon this year, so
all right, Coach, fresh up.
Financial institution clearly
all right.
the West. Western Cooperative Credit Union is money done the Western way. WCCU provides you with good old-fashioned Western hospitality. Every time you walk through our doors, we treat you like neighbors ought to treat each other, because that's just who we are. So head west. You'll know you're here when you see the bison on our side. Join the herd at Western Cooperative Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Mike Reuter back here. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Now here is Coach Mooter with her pregame comments.
All right, Coach, fresh off the first win of the season, probably feels pretty good to get the monkey off the back. The girls played well. What was kind of the shift from the first game we saw here at home to last night?
Well, last night we started off a little bit rough, but I think from the first game of the season to now, we've just really upped our communication skills. We kind of know our roles a little bit more. And defensive-wise, we've really proved that we are a strong defensive team, and I think we really showcased that last night.
And on the defensive end, you have Alyssa in the back row. She has one of the highest digs per set in the conference. She's shown out well, as well as Maya and Michelle. They were playing fantastic defense in the back row. How important is that for that back unit is solidified by 3 sophomores?
Well, it's such an important role, and we don't take that lightly. We knew that defense was really going to be our secret weapon this year, so if you're asking about how I feel about losing them next season, I'm a little scared to lose them, but I know we'll get some great recruits in, but they are a powerhouse, those 3.
Now talking on the offensive end, there's someone that's really jumped off the page, and I think all the fans over the radio, you can tell, Sam on that outside, she is electric, and anytime the ball goes her way off of a set, I think all eyes are just fixated on her. How impressive has it been to watch her just absolutely send bombs downrange?
It is. It gives me goosebumps. It gives me goosebumps talking about her right now, because seriously, she really is a fantastic player, a great athlete. I would not want to be on the other side of the net digging a ball from her, that's for sure. And she has actually, believe it or not, improved a lot too. You know, you get a good player like that coming in, and you think sometimes, hey, how can I make this player better? And we've really been working with her on some playing smart, tipping the ball a little bit more, but man, when she does get on top of that ball, it's pretty incredible.
Now, last night we were up against one of the best servers in the conference, and now tonight we're up against another one, as well as one of the premier blockers in the conference. How do you really plan for some elite players at their positions when you come up against them?
For servers, we plan by practicing service seed. And we do different variations of service seed, where we have the servers like come about halfway up to the net. It's going to be, I guess, a little bit harder to explain, but we just do several different drills at practice to try to help us prepare for that, whether it's a float server, a top spin, and then to prepare for a blocker like we've got tonight, we just try to strategize on how we can get it around her. You know, who is she blocking with? Is that opponent shorter, or can we tip right over her? How are the defenders behind her? So yeah, we definitely watch film and try to prepare for that before game time.
All right, we hope we can go get signs tonight, and good luck.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Those are pregame comments with Coach Mooter about 6.5 minutes before we get underway here for the game against NDSCS. We're going to set aside for a 3-minute timeout. When we come back, we'll have more of the pregame show. Get you ready between this Mondac Conference matchup back in 3 minutes.
McDonald's of Williston is proud to support all the Williston St. Teton athletic teams and would like to wish them success this season. McDonald's provides a thank the community of Williston and the surrounding area for your patronage over the years. Hey, the next time you're in town, stop by McDonald's for a great meal or a quick snack. McDonald's of Williston. Breakfast, lunch, or dessert, come on into McDonald's of Williston. Proud to be a part of Teton Athletics and proud to be part of the Williston community.
And we're back with breaking news. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any Coke fan. So make sure you... Jim.
Ooh, yeah, this tastes like the best Coke ever to me. Your thoughts, Jen?
Well, can I have a sip?
Jen, we're in the middle of reporting the news.
You don't have to drive hundreds of miles to get a great deal on a new or used vehicle. Price, sell, cars, and Williston Auto. We're in the business of beating the deal from any dealer. Go ahead, shop around from Bismarck to Billings. Then bring us their best deal. We'll squish it like a bug and feed it like a ribbon mule. No animals or insects wearing your home maintenance commercial. Price, sell, cars, and Williston Auto and WillistonAuto.com. See dealer for the
G&G Pharmacy, an independent, locally owned retail pharmacy committed to providing you top-notch customer service in the friendly, fast, and non-Williston. Open 7 days a week. G&G Pharmacy offers the convenience of a drive-through window and a traditional retail store. Melissa and Doug toys available at their downtown Service Truck location. And no more wondering when your prescription is ready. Use the mobile app or receive a text message when it's ready from G&G Pharmacy. 572-RXRX. That's 572-7979. From their humble beginnings in 1910 through 4 generations, family-owned First International Bank and Trust has been delivering on the promise to help dreams come true, one customer at a time. Their style of banking places the focus on you first and your overall experience.
keeping your best interests in mind and striving to provide smart financial solutions that improve and simplify your life, letting you get back to what matters most. First International Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
On Sundays, your NFL team is always playing at Buffalo Wild Wings with 63 HCTVs having an NFL package. Will not miss a minute of action. Enjoy wings, salads, sandwiches, and more as your team takes the field. Come in and stand up while enjoying the variety of beers on tap from kickoff to the final whistle. Located at 417 Rieger Drive in Williston, North Dakota. Football lives here. Buffalo Wild Wings, beer, sports.
Mike Cooter back here for Teton Volleyball on 660 Keys News Radio. Tetons have about 3 minutes left to go before we get going for this Mondac Conference matchup. Taking a peek at the current standings for the Mondac Conference, on top of everyone, to no surprise, is Bismarck State College, a team that the Tetons took to 5 sets in their opening action for the season. That was right here at the Well. NDSCS, the team that is in town today, also at 3-0. Lake Region State, which the Tetons beat last night in another exciting 5-set match at 2-2. The Tetons at 1-1 in conference play. Miles Community College at 1-2. Dawson Community College at 0-2. And Dakota College at Bono at 0-3 in conference play. Lots of excitement for both of these teams as they get set to go. Tetons looking to solidify their identity as a solid defensive team in the back row, as we heard from Coach Mooter earlier in her pregame comments. And that defense is anchored by Alyssa Oliver in the back row. The sophomore libero is one of the best digs per set getter in the conference, averaging 6.3 across. She'll have a couple of good players for the Wildcats. Kaylee Stegora is one of the top blockers in per set in the conference. She's averaging just under 1 block per set. A 6-foot freshman middle hitter. And well, there also some good service work. We saw one of the best servers in the conference yesterday. And after some early issues in that first set in which the Tetons lost 7-25, they were able to figure things out on the defensive end, and the offense came around as well. That offense has been a multifaceted attack. It's led off by 2 fantastic outside hitting freshmen for the Tetons. That is number 3, Sam Timmerman. She was yesterday's Wilson Auto Player of the Game. Timmerman, a 5'11 freshman outside hitter from the Netherlands, as well as another foreign import for Williston State. Also on the outside, number 6, a 5'5 freshman from Columbia, Sarita Restrepo. They've both done a fantastic job. Also doing good work up on the front lines is J.C. Turcott, Madeline Mullins, and also Tristan Barta. So they're getting contributions up and down the lineup, which is only 10 deep. Both teams are now lined up along the end line, and they are just seconds away before the playing of the national anthem and the starting lineups here from the Well in Williston. We do have the Teton starting lineups, but the Wildcats didn't have theirs in yet, and they're waiting for the last second, but as they possibly could, to put theirs in. They wanted to make sure they knew whether they were serving or receiving first. Also happening on campus today at Williston State, there was a intra-squad scrimmage, but of the volleyball team. Was able to go and take that in and saw what the volleyball team will be bringing to the field in the spring. Right now, the national anthem is playing. We're going to step aside for a 90-second timeout. When we come back, we'll have the starting lineups for both teams back in 90 seconds.
Performance Plus, something new from American State Bank and Trust Company, an account that fits your active lifestyle. Free digital banking services including bill pay, remote deposit, and e-statements. An instant issue debit card, limited ATM fee refunds, and no maintenance fees. Go to ASBT.com for terms and conditions, and stop in our Main or North offices to open your new Performance Plus account. Banking the American State way. Banking your way with Performance Plus. Member FDIC.
Earning your degree doesn't mean putting your life on hold. Williston State College offers a wide array of associate and associate of applied science programs that fit your busy lifestyle. They are flexible, convenient, and career-focused to what your goals are, and taught by experienced and engaged faculty. With 13 CTE and 15 academic programs, you can take classes fully online to meet the demands of life on the farm, in the patch, or simply raising a family.
Williston State College, where the people make the difference. Please visit online at wilistonstate.edu/class.
So you need a new vehicle. You've done your homework, and a new Honda would be perfect. Reliable, fuel-efficient, stylish, and perfect. But where do you go? Why not your hometown Honda dealer? Ryan Honda at Ryan Motors in Williston. We have a nice selection of affordable new Hondas, and when it comes time for service, Ryan Honda's authorized Honda Service Center will keep your Honda running its best for years. Come see us today, your full-service hometown Honda dealership, Ryan Honda at Ryan Motors in Williston, or shop ryanhonda.net.
Mike Ritter back here for Teton Volleyball on 660 Keys News Radio. They're going through the non-starters for both teams, for both the Wildcats of NDSCS and the Tetons of Williston State. Student section trickling in here, and they were raucous and loud last night for the Tetons' victory over Lake Region State College and the Royals, and they'll look to be just as loud again against another conference rival in science. So Tetons looking to get it going and making it 2 in a row. They're looking to go now 2-6 overall on the season and 2-1 in conference play. If their defense can hold out, they can be trouble and a hard out for any team in the conference when it comes down to it. Still plenty of season left to go. Still all of September and most of the way through October before they hit postseason play. Now getting into the starting lineups for both teams. They'll get the Tetons first, and they get a wild reaction from their fan base. Starting things off will be number 4, a 5'11 sophomore outside hitter from Carlisle, Saskatchewan, Tristan Barta. Number 6, a 5'5 freshman outside hitter from Columbia, Cerrito Restrepo. Number 9, a 5'11 freshman setter from Circle, Montana, Alexis Moline. Number 10, a 5'6 defensive specialist sophomore from Billings, Montana, Michelle Hanley. Number 13, a 6'2 freshman middle hitter from Glendale, Arizona, Madeline Mullins. And number 15, a 5'10 outside hitter from Trenton, North Dakota, J.C. Turcotte. Tetons are coached by Caitlin Mooter, assisted by Joe Marquardt, Mallory Falcon, and Emily Schultz. Now taking a peek over at NDSCS, they have a much deeper squad than the Tetons. So did the Royals last night, and that didn't amount to the win for the team with the deeper bench. So we'll see what they bring up to the court on this edition of Teton Volleyball right here on 660 Keys News Radio. Zeros across the board waiting to get put up, and now we're ready to go. Tetons will be in their black tops and black bottoms with green trim and white lettering. The Wildcats will be in their all blacks as well, with red and white trim and red lettering. Liberos for each team. Oliver for the Tetons, she'll be in her white top along with her green bottoms. And the libero for Science, Rain Mogan, she'll be in a gradient red to white jersey with white lettering. Both umpires are ready to go. Line judges are ready as well. Featured line judge here tonight is Teton women's basketball assistant coach, Coach Schwanke. She's out there looking to do her duty as line judge here tonight. Both teams now just huddling up before we get off and started. Tetons have traditionally so far on the year started a little slow in the first set before coming on strong. We'll see if they can't do the same or get out to a quick start here against the Wildcats. Tetons will be the first one to break the huddle. We'll see what defensive lineup they'll go into. It'll be Restrepo, Mullins, and Barta in the front row. In the back, it'll be Henley, Turcotte, as well as Moline, with Oliver set to come in first. She'll check in for J.C. Turcotte to get things going. Now here comes, waiting for the sub, just for the official to make sure. Also checking out of the game will be Mulligan, or checking into the game will be Mulligan for Science, and she'll replace Stahlborger. And now we're set to go. Tetons will be serving first. Back at the service line for Williston State will be the freshman setter, number 9, Alexis Moline. She'll look to start it off fast for Williston State. Here she is at the service line, got the whistle from the officials, and we're ready to go. Here comes the first serve. Moline gets it in there, misplayed a little bit. Center attack tipped up there. Oliver with the dig. It's going to go to Moline, set on to the outside. Here comes Restrepo. That save just about a carry. Didn't know how that didn't get called. Sent it over by the Wildcats. Moline over to Parda. She's going to be blocked, and that's going to be down on the Teton side. First block of the game for the Wildcats, and there was Stigora with the block. She's one of the top block getters in the conference, so she's showing up early. Back to serve for the Wildcats. Peyton Foster. She runs into a jump serve. Over it goes to Restrepo. Serve to Mullins. That's going to be off the top of the net. Comes down, and a big kill. It's going to be in there, and that one was very close to the line. 2-0 lead for the Wildcats here in set number 1. Tetons looking to get a side out and get their first points on the board. Back to serve one more time is Foster. She'll run into one, and that'll be a service error for the Wildcats, their first of the day. And Tetons will be going with their line change. Henley and Barta will be coming out. Pospisil and Timmermans will be coming in. Maya Pospisil, one of the best servers on the squad, will be back and ready to send it down for Williston State. So Maya gets the ball, now goes into her preset routine. She'll take a peek over at her coaching staff, make sure they find the right serve that they want. Here comes the first serve on the way. That's a rocket to the back row. Set in the middle by Forrester. Outside attack right to Oliver. Pospisil races to keep it alive. Here comes a free ball from Moline. That'll get over. Received over by Mulligan. Set in the middle. Here comes an outside attack. Blocked at the net off the hands of Stigora. Set down there. Mullins to the outside. It's going to be put over by Timmermans. Just down inside. Sam Timmermans with a huge outside attack gets down there, and we're all tied up at 2 apiece. 2-2 here to start this first set. And Pospisil once again will be back to serve. She'll take her dribbles and look to run into another one. Here comes the 2-2 serve from Pospisil. Line drive, that's going to be misplayed in there for an ace for Maya. First of the game for the Tetons, and they are on top for the first time, now 3-2. So Pospisil with ace number 1 for the Tetons. She's looking on her eyes to get a bunch more. Here she comes with the next serve. 3-2, Tetons on the high side. Laser in there. 2 straight aces in a row for Pospisil and the Tetons, and they are on fire, as are the Teton student section. The Tetons looking to catch the Wildcats napping a little bit here in this first set. Here comes the next serve, 4-2. On the way, another bomb to the outside. A little collision for the Wildcats. They're recovering. It's going to be a long spike from the outside, and that'll get down for a point. Bring it back to 4-3. That was outside off the arm of number 4, Laura Green, and Green will come out of the game. Back up to serve now will be number 5, Samantha Cole. Here comes a serve from Cole. Line drive right to Pospisil. That's going to be right over and touchdown by the big freshman in the middle, Stigora. So that ties it back up at 4. 4 apiece on the American State Bank scoreboard. To serve one more time is Cole. Here she comes, sends it over, just over the top of the net. Pospisil gets it outside. It's going to go, and that'll be put down off the hands of Restrepo. A great finesse move to put it down off the blocker's hands and in there for a point. Mullins will come out of the game for the Tetons. Turcotte is going to move in to replace her, as Alyssa Oliver will be back to the service line. Oliver comes up. Here comes a jump serve from Oliver. She's going to get to the back row. Outside attack. Big block by the Tetons. Kept alive over by Cole. Here comes another one. On the middle, blocked again. No, it's going to be just out. A big block by the Tetons, but Stigora put it down again, and the Tetons couldn't keep it in play, and they got it out of bounds. So Tetons looking over their bench for a little bit of adjustments. We're tied up at 5 apiece. One more time, Stigora on the back line. Flat-footed serve comes over. She'll send it back to Timmermans. Timmermans to Mullins. On the outside to Restrepo. High off a block it goes. Here come the Wildcats one more time. Backward set over on the outside. That one's blocked. Gostovich went to try go for a big kill, but a pair of Tetons were there to turn her away. 6-5, Tetons back on the high side. Stigora out of the game. Coming back in is Mulligan. And serving is Sarita Restrepo, the 5'5 freshman from Columbia. Here comes the serve from Restrepo. The southpaw serve will get it in there. Dug out by Cole. Here comes a long outside attack. Oliver saves it now. It's going to go to Timmermans. A little touch attack. Dug up by Gostovich. Attack again, and that'll be off the fingertips of Moline and Turcotte. And in front of the backline defense for Williston State Both teams knotted back up at 6 apiece. Back and forth we go. A couple of subs going in and out for NDSCS. Back to serve for the Wildcats will be number 1, Rose Wendell, her first appearance into the game. Wendell on the service line. She'll take one step and let it fly. Flat-footed serve. That's a second service error of the set for Science. And the Henley and Barta line will come back in for Timmermans and Pospisil. Michelle Henley, another service specialist and defensive specialist for the Tetons, will go back to the service line. She had a huge service set in set number 2 yesterday for the Tetons. She went 6 in a row and got the Tetons 1 point away from their first set 1. Here comes the serve received by the Wildcats. Long outside hit. Oliver gets it. Henley tries to save it. It hits off her hand, but she didn't have enough room to work with. Was able to save it, so we're tied back up at 7 after the point from Science. Back to serve for Science, Laura Green, 5'4" sophomore defensive specialist from Fargo. Green will come right down Main Street with her serve. She'll run into the jump serve. That's going to be right to Henley. Dug up by Moline, outside to Barta. She'll get it across, touched up by Cole. Outside, here it comes. That's going to be blocked by the Tetons. Long, it's going to go away. Kept alive by the Wildcats, pushed over by Stagora. Here's a set for Moline. She's going to go one touch, push it over. Dug out there by the Wildcats. Attack from Stagora again, blocked by the Tetons. Pushed up. Barta from the outside, touched over. Is going to be kept alive by the Wildcats one more time. Mulligan onto the outside. That one's going to be sailed long and wide by Boomsma. So Boomsma can't keep it in the field of play, and it's once again a Teton lead now 8-7. Coming back in is Maddie Mullen. She'll take the place of Oliver as J.C. Turcotte will head back to the service line, or set to the service line for the first time. Turcotte's first serve received by the libero Mogan. Flat-footed hit will go over. Barta with a great dig. Moline going to go to Mullins. Touch over. It's going to dug out by Stagora. Here's a set. Into the middle it'll go. Great dig by Restrepo. Barta with the kill. That's going to be in there. Tristan Barta with a huge attack and a Teton point. They're up now by 2, 9-7 on the American State Bank scoreboard. Tristan Barta had a little bit of a rough attacking game last night, but she has come out in full force here today. Turcotte again back to serve. Flat-footed goes over, and that one is going to be sent long. First service error for the Tetons here in set number 1, and that'll make it 9-8. Turcotte will check out of the game. Oliver coming back in to play the back row libero spot. Serving for Science is going to be number 2, Rain Mogan, their libero. She sends one long. Restrepo takes it. Moline onto the outside. Here comes Barta again. That one's going to be just out by about 2 inches. So Barta very close to threading the needle down the line, just missed. That makes it 9-9, all evened up once again, just about midway through this, just about midway through this first. Service error on there from Mulligan. She sends it long and out of the back. Well, that's the Tetons back up on top by 1. Tetons officially went around the order in serves. Back up to the top is Alexis Moline. Moline runs into the jump serve, lets one fly. That'll be to the back row. Dunk bumped up by Green. Here comes a long attack, and that one's going to be somehow saved by Henley. Free ball over from Barta. Back it'll go to Green. Outside attack, and that one will be in there in between Henley and Oliver. Great attack by Cole. And another couple of subs coming in for Science. We're all knotted up at 10 apiece. So some changes happening now for Science as their head coach Jane Passa is out along the side of the court talking to their players. They might want to look at cleaning some stuff up. All knotted up, 10 apiece. Here comes the next serve for the Wildcats from Foster. That'll be right to Restrepo. Serve from Moline. Over to Barta. Great attack off the blocker's hands and down for another Teton point, and they reclaim the lead. Back comes Pospisil and Timmermans in for Henley and Barta. 11-10 on the American State Bank scoreboard. That'll bring Maya Pospisil back to the service line, her second trip. She'll get the ball after the teams, both of them, have a chance to get ready. Maya taking her dribbles before she gets to send one down range. Here comes the serve on the way. Line drive received by Green. The sent up down on the outside, and that's going to be touched by the Tetons. Restrepo got a hand on it but couldn't send it back to whence it came, and that evens things up at 11 apiece. Green will come out of the game. Back in is Gostovich to play the front row for Science. Here comes the next serve for Science. That'll come from Cole. A long line drive. Green gets it. Moline to the outside. Timmermans, her first touch, and that one's going to be long and hard out of bounds. That'll give the Wildcats their first lead since very early in this set number 1. And Cole will go back to serve once again. Tetons looking for a side out to knot it back up. Here comes a serve. Oliver gets it. Gets her a little bit deep. Free ball comes over from Mullins. Great save and dug out by Mulligan. Inside middle attack, and Moline can't handle it. That's now a 2-point lead for the Wildcats, 13-11. Once again, going back to serve are the Wildcats. Cole to serve. This will be their longest serve of the set so far. Here comes the next one from Cole. Little lollipop. Timmerman's right there. Mullins back to Timmerman. She's a big attack, and that one's going to be blocked at the net, but it's going to hit the pole on the way back through, and that'll be a Teton point. Back within 1. Mullins out of the game. Turcotte back in, and Alyssa Oliver will be back to serve. Libero for the Tetons, one of the best diggers in the conference. Here's her flat-footed serve, just loops over the net, right in front of it. Great outside attack opportunity. Oliver with a huge dig. Mullins outside to Timmermans. She'll touch it over, popped up at the net. Turcotte with a dig. Mullins again. It'll be pushed over by Timmerman. She just shoots it wide, and that's again a 2-point lead for Science, 14-12. Couple more changes. Back to serve will be Stigora for NDSCS. She'll take her time. Flat-footed serve on the way. Send it back to Timmermans. Bumps it up to Moline. Sets it over to Turcotte. Blocked at the net, and that's going to pinball around. Tetons give up another point. Find themselves down by 3. Their largest deficit of the set. And they'll have to try and regroup here before they let anything snowball and find themselves down by a bunch here in this first. Next one on the way. Oliver takes it. Moline sets. Back set over to Stigora. And that one is going to be a point for the Tetons. Net violation. It was by Restrepo. Restrepo with the attack. Net violation by the Wildcats. And that gives another point to Williston State. Now 15-13. Restrepo back to serve. The southpaw taking her dribbles. Here she runs up into one. Sends one down range. A little looping pop fly. Received in the middle. Another outside attack. And that one Restrepo got in there for a pancake, but not enough elevation underneath it to pop it up. And there's going to be another sub coming in for NDSCS. Back to a 3-point Teton deficit, 16-13. Service now for the Wildcats. Wendell back to serve. 5'5" sophomore from Larimore, North Dakota. Pospisil gets it. Here comes Timmerman from the outside, and she mishits that one, sends it long. Third mishit of the set from Timmermans, and she is an absolute weapon on offense for the Tetons. See if she can't round into form here as we continue. Now a 4-point lead. Here comes the next serve. Oliver to Mullins. That one's going to get over the net, and in just a little misplay on the set. A 5-point deficit for the Tetons, and Coach Mooter is going to call a timeout before the wheels fall off. Tetons trail 18-13 on the American State Bank scoreboard. We're going to step aside for just a 30-second timeout. When we come back, we'll have more Teton volleyball right here on 660 Keys News Radio.
When you're looking for a new or a different home, seek the counsel of the professionals at Basin Brokers. Basin Brokers has offices in Plentywood, Montana, Watford City, and Williston. The realtors at Basin Brokers know the market and will help you find the home that fits your requirements and budget. They're happy to answer all your questions about the area. The real estate office you want to know is Basin Brokers in Watford City, Plentywood, and Williston. Find them online at basinbrokers.com.
Mike Ruder back here for Teton Volleyball on 660 Keys News Radio and the Williston State YouTube page. Tetons trail by 5. They're looking for a big side out so they can start to build some momentum before this set gets away with them and it becomes too little too late. Back to serve one more time for Science is Rose Wendell. Tetons still have a timeout left in the set, and their last member now coming back in. Moline back playing the front row. She's last one off the bench, getting a quick drink. Serve comes to Pospisil. Outside, Turcotte off the heel of her hand. Received by the Wildcats. Middle attack, touched over, and that is almost a throw over by Stahlborger. She gets in there for another Wildcat point. Biggest lead of the set, now 19-13. And that'll put Wendell back on the service line. Tetons desperately in need of a side out to get some quick points on the board. Next serve from Wendell. That one's going to sail. Oliver takes it right before it hit the back line. Outside to Timmerman. She goes cross court. Great play by Timmerman. and she was looking at a big wall of Wildcats and instead bumped it off the heel of her hand and found no man's land for a quick point. A coach for the Wildcats up right next to the court and doing some defensive adjusting after that hit, wanting to shore things up before the Tetons find a seam that they can exploit early and often. Michelle Hanley just subbed in along with Tristan Barta, set to serve. Here comes a serve from Hanley. That one's going to be long to the back row, bumped up, and that's going to be in there for a point, just about an ace, but flying in to try to save it was Wendell. So Hanley with a big point for the Tetons, down to 4-point differential, 19-15. Tetons looking to rally back late here in the first. They want to take the first one over one of the top teams in the Montauk Conference. Next serve on the way from Hanley. She sends it long. That's going to be dug out of there in the back row. Big outside hit coming. 2 Tetons were there for the block, but it was to no avail as number 10, Gostovich, was able to power through the blockers for another point. Wildcats up to 20 now, 20-15. Serving now, Laura Green for the Wildcats. Here she comes looking for another service point for Science. Barta after the attack is blocked at the net, sets it to Moline. Back, it's going to go to Turcotte, sends it across, dug out by Green. Here comes a set in the middle by Wendell. Big outside attack, and that was a soft hit by Boomsma. And that one in no man's land in front of the back row, but behind the front for another point. Back to a 6-point lead by Science. Again, Green looking to serve. She'll come right down the middle of the court. Right to Hanley. Moline has to just bump it over on 2. Set from Wendell in the middle. Outside hit. Oliver with a huge dig up there. Moline over the outside. Turcotte sends it over right to Green in the back row. Again, Wendell. Another huge hit saved by Restrepo. Another pushover by Oliver, and here comes the Wildcats. Big outside attack by Stigora. Henley with the reception and the dig. Outside to Barta. A little misplay on the set, but Barta's able to get it there off the defender's hands, out of bounds. Teton staying alive now, 21-16. Oliver coming out of the game. Back in is Mullins, and to serve will be J.C. Turcotte. Turcotte, the sophomore from Trenton, back onto the service line for Williston State. She'll walk into one, set one flying. Great serve. Right in the middle, here comes a touch play over the outside, and there's going to be a violation. They're going to call a net violation on Williston State. Let's see, that one looks like that was. Couldn't see the number that the official flashed up for the violation, but that makes it 22-16. Serving now, Mo again to Libero. Over goes to Restrepo. Mullins outside to Barta. Barta with a big attack, and that one will get down for another Teton point off some blockers' hands. Not very often have the Tetons gotten a great look on a clean kill opportunity. Wildcats doing a good job rotating over and getting hands on the ball as it comes across. Moline back to serve, her third service of the set. She sends one over. That's going to be long and just get in there. That'll be an ace for Moline off the hands of Green. Misplayed it a little bit. She thought it was in between letting it go deep or attacking it, and that got in there. Tetons trailing by just 4. They can make a late run. 22-18 on the American State Bank scoreboard. Next serve, that will just dip over, and another ace. 2 in a row for Moline. The Tetons have cut it back down to 3, 22-19. Freshman in there, back to serve once again. Moline from circle, looking to cut the lead down to just 2. Here comes the next serve. Another great one dug out. Here's the set from Wendell. Metal touch attack, and that's going to be a 4-hitter. The Tetons are they're gonna say play on. They say Tetons got a touch. Here comes Barta from the outside. Big hit, and it just goes wide. We'll see if there's a protest coming from the Teton bench, and it does not look like there will be on that one. I would have bet anything that would have been a 4-hit on the Wildcats, but the Tetons, they say, got a touch on it. Instead, that makes it 23-19. 2 more points needed for Science. Moline with the bump. Restrepo from the outside. That one's going to be saved by Green. It'll be bumped up again. Here comes a free ball coming over from Cole. Moline pushed it over into the back corner. That one's just pushed a little bit wide. Just a hair out of the line. Moline with a great idea. Just execution faltered a little bit. Now set point for Science. Here comes the next serve, coming over from Forrester. Henley gets it. Moline over to Mullins. Kept alive by Forrester. Big bump. Outside attack by the libero Mogan. Moline over to Barta. She's going to push it, kept alive by Oliver, and another push again by the Tetons. There is Mulligan to get a block at the net by Mullins. Set in the middle, outside attack by Cole. Keeping alive is Barta, bumped up by Moline. Restrepo with a left-handed attack onto the outside. Big bump. Here comes the middle attack coming from Stigora. Pushed over once again by the Tetons. Set in the middle. They're going for Stigora for the kill and the win. Nothing there. Henley keeps it alive. Mullins will tip it over. Right there once again is the Wildcats. Here comes an outside attack, and that one's going to be kept alive by the Tetons. Henley with a big shot from the back row. Once again, here comes the Wildcats. Blocked at the net, and that one is going to go out of bounds off of Teton hands. And that is the final for set number 1. Science takes it by the final of 25-19 over the Tetons. Hard fought to the Tetons. Let it get away from them in the middle portion of the set and couldn't come back from that. They'll have something to build on here in set number 2. 3 minutes before we get ready to go for the second set here from the Well in Williston. We're going to step aside for a 2.5-minute timeout. When we come back, we'll have more Teton Volleyball on 660 Keys News Radio and the Teton YouTube page. Back in 2.5.
G&G Pharmacy, an independent, locally owned retail pharmacy committed to providing you top-notch customer service from their friendly, fast, and knowledgeable staff. Open 7 days a week. G&G Pharmacy offers the convenience of a drive-through window and a traditional retail store. Melissa and Doug Troy's available at their downtown service truck location. And no more wondering when your prescription's ready. Use the mobile app or receive a text message when it's ready from G&G Pharmacy. 572-RXRX. That's 572-7979.
You don't have to drive hundreds of miles to get a great deal on a new or used vehicle. Price, sell, cars at Williston Auto. We're in the business of beating the deal from any dealer. Go ahead, shop around from Bismarck to Philly. Then bring us their best deal. We'll squish you like a fudge and beat it like a rented mule. No animals or insects were injured while making this commercial. Price, sell, cars at Williston Auto at WillistonAuto.com. See dealer for details.
And we're back with breaking news. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any Coke fan. So make sure... Jim.
Ooh, yes, this tastes like the best Coke ever to me. Your thoughts, Jen?
Well, can I have a sip?
Jen, we're in the middle of reporting the news.
McDonald's of Williston is proud to support all the Williston St. Teton athletic teams and would like to wish them success this season. McDonald's would like to thank the community of Williston and the surrounding area for your patronage over the years. Hey, the next time you're in town, stop by McDonald's for a great meal or a quick snack. McDonald's of Williston. Breakfast, lunch, or dessert, come on into McDonald's of Williston. Proud to be a part of Teton Athletics and proud to be part of the Williston community.
Of all your choices for a financial institution, clearly the best is the West. Western Cooperative Credit Union is money done the Western way. WCCU provides you with good old-fashioned Western hospitality every time you walk through our doors. We treat you like neighbors ought to treat each other, because that's just who we are, neighbors. So head west. You'll know you're here when you see the bison on our side. Join the herd at Western Cooperative Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Mike Ruder back here for Teton Volleyball on 660 Keys News Radio. Tetons trail no sets to 1 to North Dakota State College of Science and the Wildcats. Tetons looking to come back as they are all on the court already. Here comes the Wildcats as well. Tetons were going back and forth with the Wildcats until about the 12-point mark when the Wildcats took the lead for the first time since very early in the set and did not look back. Tetons got within 3 late, but were unable to close the gap and then take the win. Wildcats back to serve one more time. Peyton Foster will be serving for Science. Here comes the first serve of set number 2. Restrepo takes it. Moline in the middle to Mullins. She's blocked at the net, but Mullins will put it right back over, and that'll be an outside. It's going to go long, out of bounds. Tetons get on the high side first. Take a 1-0 lead. Here comes Pospisil and Timmermans. So they'll come in once again for Barta and Henley. So both couple of good outside hitters and defensive specialists switching for each other. Pospisil at the service line. She'll take a couple of good dribbles and then run into one. First serve for the Tetons in set number 2 is a line drive. That's going to be up there. Mullins will send it back down, but it'll be dug out by Mulligan. Here comes an outside hit off the fist. It'll come off of Cole. Teton send it back over in 2. Here's a middle attack blocked at the net by Mullins. She keeps it alive. Teton's going to send it over. Oliver off the heel of her hand. Set in the middle. Outside attack. Huge attack that's blocked but sent out of bounds by Restrepo and Mullins. Tied back up at 1 apiece, 1-1. Stigora in the middle for the Wildcats is an absolute force to be reckoned with. Here comes the next serve. On the way it goes for the Wildcats. Misplayed by Pospisil. Timmermans tried to keep it alive, hit it into the net, but no one else could recover. Wildcats back up on top by 1. Now 2-1. See if the Tetons can recover. Samantha Cole back to serve. She sends one on. Pospisil gets it. Moline over to Restrepo. She's blocked at the net. I don't know if she even got it to a defender's hand, but it'll be in there for a third straight point for the Wildcats. Now they'll look to continue their momentum they built in the second half of set number 1. Once again, coming is Cole. She'll send it over. A little lollipop. It'll be taken by Moline. Now it's Mullins, back row. And it's going to be shanked off the arm, and unable to keep alive. Just about a malfunction at the junction with Mogan and Foster. But they were just avoided colliding into each other. Tetons get the side out. Mullins checks out of the game. Turcotte comes in. And it'll be Alyssa Oliver, libero for Williston State to serve. Oliver run into a jump serve. She'll get one down in there. Great serve. Here comes a middle touch. Taken up by Timmermans. Moline into the middle to Turcotte. Taken in the back row by Cole. Outside attack. Big block by the Tetons. Turcotte rises to the occasion, literally and figuratively, to return to center that huge block from the outside from Gostovich. And we're all tied back up at 3 at the on the American State Bank scoreboard. Oliver this time, she'll walk into one. Little lollipop just gets over the net. Kept alive. Here comes an outside attack, and that one is going to be splitting a couple of defenders for the Tetons. And an attack from Riley Hoff. So this is her first appearance into the game, making an impact early. And that'll be a 1-point lead by the Wildcats, serving Wilby Stigora. She's been dynamic on the defensive end as well as attacking for the Wildcats. Moline middle. Here comes Timmerman, and she's going to be blocked at the net, kept alive by the Wildcats. One-touch attack into the net, but the Tetons can't keep it alive. A great dig by the Tetons, but they couldn't quite handle it. 2-point lead by the Wildcats. And if the Wildcats can rattle off a couple here with the momentum they have built, Tetons could have a hard time rebounding. We'll see if they can hunker down defensively. Flat-footed serve. Timmermans again on it. One touch, and that's going to be sent right back down by Stahlborger. And that is another point, now a 3-point lead. And the Tetons and Coach Mooter are going to take a timeout, talk about some things, refocus. We'll take a timeout as well. We'll be back for more Teton volleyball right here on 660 Keys News Radio and the Williston Tetons volleyball page in 30 seconds.
So you need a new vehicle. You've done your homework, and a new Honda would be perfect. Reliable, fuel-efficient, stylish, perfect. But where do you go? Why not your hometown Honda dealer? Ryan Honda at Ryan Motors in Williston. We have a nice selection of affordable new Hondas, and when it comes time for service, Ryan Honda's authorized Honda Service Center will keep your Honda running its best for years. Come see us today, your full-service hometown Honda dealership, Ryan Honda at Ryan Motors in Williston, or shop RyanHonda.net.
Mike Ruder back here for Teton Volleyball on 660 Keys News Radio. Williston State back out on the court. They trail by 3 here in set number 2. And when we resume play, it will be Science's serve to the Tetons, looking to answer some questions and really looking to avoid this one getting away from them in the second set. As Science is a very deep and very talented team. Once again, to serve is Tagora. She'll send it up. Moline to the middle. Here comes Turcotte. Sends it wide. And Tetons now trail by 4 points, 7-3. They're looking to come back. Tagora will be again to serve one more time. She'll be starting off in the back row. See if the Tetons can take advantage early. A little lollipop serve. That'll be a service error. And a much-needed side out. And the air let out of the balloon for the Wildcats just a little bit, as that will send Sarita Restrepo to the service line. The southpaw taking a look at her coaching staff to get the serve that they want. She'll come up and jump serve on the way to the back row. Dug out of there by Cole. Here comes a set to the outside. Attack is going to be blocked off the hands of Hauff. Here comes another block from the attack from the outside. Tetons dig it out, and there's going to be a set push over from Moline, and that'll be just wide, and that'll be back to a 4-point lead for Science. Restrepo will check out of the game. Coming in is number 2, Izzy Hansen. Hansen, a 5'5 freshman from Malta, Montana, in for Restrepo. Back to serve for the Wildcats, number 1, Rose Wendell. Wendell taking her dribble. She'll go, let it fly. That'll be in the back row to Pospisil. Moline right in the middle. That'll be a front set to Turcotte, taken up by Wendell. Here comes a set. Outside attack coming from Gostovic. And Hansen can't quite handle the attack. It eats her up, gets into the body, and can't get it to a teammate. That'll make it a 5-point deficit on the American State Bank scoreboard. 9-4, Wildcats lead. Next serve on the way. Oliver to Moline. Here comes Turcotte again. She's going to send it down. Gets it in there. Tetons get the point and reclaim the serve. Back down to 4. Here comes Barta and Hanley in for Pospisil and Timmermans. Hanley will be back to the service line. Looking to go on a lengthy one to draw this one tied or take the lead for the Tetons. So Hanley takes her dribbles, waits to get the decision from her coaching staff where she'll send it. Here comes the next serve from Hanley. That'll be back row, taken up there. A little bit of a shank kept alive by the Wildcats. Free ball comes over. Hansen to Moline. Here comes Barta. Big attack, and that'll be rejected at the net. And a little display is number 10, Katie Gostovic, pointing over at the Tetons as that one went down. And she'll have to be careful not to pull a yellow card after that. So Tetons now maybe use that as a little bit of momentum as they continue on here in the second, finding themselves down by 5. Serve coming up from Abby Johnson, her first appearance in the game. Moline back set to Turcotte. Turcotte sends it down with authority, and the Tetons back within 4 and get the service back. Barta comes back out, Oliver comes out of the game. Mullins back into the front row, and Turcotte will be back to serve. Daisy Turcotte takes a look. She'll walk into one, let it fly, looking for the Tetons to grab a couple in a row. Long serve taken up by Johnson. Here comes a little misplay by the Wildcats. Hansen misses it, but Hanley's right there. Free ball over from Mullins to the back row. Johnson up to the middle. Short set, and that'll be off the hands of Hansen and down on the kill by Stigora. So Stigora again. No, it wasn't Stigora, excuse me. In the middle, that was number 6. Boomsma with the attack. Now Stigora back into the game, playing the middle. Mo again back to serve for the Wildcat. She'll loop it over right to Hansen. Moline to Mullins. Off the palm of her heel, dug up by Mogan. Inside to Stigora. Back to Hanley it goes. Tetons looking to do something with it. In the middle to Mullins. Diving bodies for the Wildcats. They recover. Here comes another big attack. Out of bounds it goes off of Boomsma's hand. And they're going to call it out. Wildcats wanted to touch on that one, but to no avail. Hansen checking out of the game. Coming back in is Restrepo. And to serve will be number 9, Alexis Moline for the Tetons. Moline taking her dribbles. 11-7. Tetons within striking distance. To the back row. Johnson it goes. Set in the middle from Wendell. Here comes an outside attack. Blocked. And there's going to be a touch call. And they're going to give the point to the Tetons. Mogan was right there. And it looked close to touching the ball on her knees. She was trying to keep her body out of the way, but I think it might have just glanced off her. So they'll get a touch now over Tetons, back within 3, 11-8. Moline with another serve. That one's going to be kept up. Tough attack from the Wildcats. Oliver bumps it up outside. He's going to go to Restrepo, and they're going to look for a touch, and no touch given for the Tetons. They're going to say it's straight out of bounds. And Timmermans looking over at the bench for the Tetons. She made, with her fingers, made the square symbol, calling in, soccer fans know that as a call for VAR, video replay. So she's calling for replay there. She didn't agree with that call. Here comes the next serve coming up from Science. Quick touch pass to Mullins. It's going to be rocketed off a hand, and it kept alive. Kick save, and no touches left for the Wildcats. Johnson laid all the way out to keep that one alive, and she just couldn't get it enough. Trying to kick it over was Foster, but couldn't quite get enough on it to send it over the net. So Tetons back within 3, 12-9. Maya Pospisil freshly into the game along with Sam Timmermans look to close the gap even further here in set number 2. Maya's serve on the way. That goes a rocket. Dug out by the Wildcats. Outside attack coming from Houff. And Tetons can't quite handle it. That gets down there. Lead is back to 4 for Science, 13-9. That last attack on the outside from Houff. Pinball against a couple of Tetons. Johnson coming out of the game. She looks a little bit like she's going to look a little bit of attention, and she is rubbing her right knee a little bit. Moline after the serve. Here comes attack from Timmermans, and Timmermans is blocked at point-blank range. That was a dual block by Houff and Stagora. 6 foot and 5'10" at the net to increase the Wildcat lead back to 5, 14-9. Tetons look to make a big run here midway through this second. Next serve, and that's going to be a service error on the Wildcats off the hand of Samantha Cole. That'll give a point and the serve back to the Tetons. Mullins coming out of the game, Turcat coming back in, and Oliver will be back to serve. Tetons looking to get it going here in the second. Oliver, she'll jump serve into one. Lollipop over, that'll get down there for an ace. Alyssa Oliver with the 4th ace of the day for the Tetons. Back within 3, now 14-11. Oliver, who is usually just an easy-as-you-go server, has added now a jump serve. She'll send another lollipop in there. This time it's received by the Wildcats. Outside attack by Houff. That'll be saved after the block. Here comes another outside shot by Gostovich. Mullins right there after the dig out on the back row by Oliver, and they're going to call a double hit on Mullins as she mistimed her set. So that'll be an unforced error for the Tetons. They give the serve back to NDSCS. Stagora at the service line. She'll take one step and go with the flat-footed serve to the back row to Timmermans. Here comes a set from Moline. Outside to Restrepo. She mishits a little bit, but still manages to get it over. Bump, another big jump attack, and that one's going to be saved by Moline, but right over the net it goes. Big middle attack is blocked in the middle by Turcotte. Pushed over. Oliver keeps it alive. Pospisil. Now Moline with a push shot. That one's going to be brought up. Here comes another big middle bump. Right there is Moline to keep it alive. Oliver bumps it up. And a free ball coming over for Timmermans. Jaws can't get it over the net. And Sam is a little bit beside herself, but here comes her teammates to make sure she stays up. 16-11. Stagora and the Wildcats threatening to run away with this one here if the Tetons can't stop the bleeding. Here comes the next serve, right to Timmermans in the middle. Moline set on the outside to Turcotte with a huge attack and a kill for the point. So JC Turcotte being a game changer here for the Tetons in the second, trying to swing some momentum to the service line. Number 6, Sarita Restrepo. She'll take her dribbles. Here comes a southpaw serve. Big jump and a kill and attack. That one will be sent just a little bit wide. Restrepo trying to get a little bit too much back all at once. And that'll be the Tetons giving up another point. Back down by 5, 17-12. To serve Rose Wendell for the Wildcats. And coming into the game for the Tetons, Isabel Hansen in for Restrepo. Wendell, flat-footed serve. Oliver right there. Moline to the outside. Timmermans a little touch, and that's going to get down there. Timmermans for her second point that got down both times. She's had to get crafty with it after a couple of blockers have come up and created a wall to try to force her to go around, and she has a couple times successfully. Back to a 4-point deficit for the Tetons. Henley and Barta back in for Pospisil and Timmermans. We'll see if Michelle can get it done for the Tetons. She takes her dribbles, walks into one. Here comes a jump serve to the back row. That one's going to be just about down, kept alive by the Wildcats. Oliver with the dig. Moline over to Barta. Barta's going to be blocked, but Oliver with the save. Henley keeps it alive, and that's going to be a push over by Hansen. That won't get over the net. So that is a great opportunity for the Tetons. They can't take advantage of. Back to a 5-point game, 18-13. Tetons have been going back and forth with Science the last 4 or 5 points. They need to go on a run back into the game. Number 7, Abby Johnson, with her knee that she was looking at earlier when she was on the bench, must be feeling pretty good. She's going to stay in. Here comes a set outside attack from Turcotte, and it's going to be pinballed around off a couple of Wildcats and get down there for the point. Tetons back within 4. Oliver coming out. Mullins in to play the middle, and Turcotte will be to serve. JC Turcotte back to serve once again for the Tetons. Looking to go on a run. Here comes a flat-footed serve to the back row. Johnson misplays it. Kept alive by Mulligan. Here comes a free ball over from Boomsma. Moline over to Mullen. She sends it over. The libero for Science right there. Here comes that big middle attack, and that's going to be sent down by Stahlberger. Gets in there for a point, and Oliver will check back in for Turcotte. 19-14. Back and forth they go. Tetons need to close the gap as they're running out of real estate on the scoreboard. As serving will be number 2, Rain Mulligan. Mulligan sends one across. There's Hansen to field it. Moline over to Barta. Barta tried to put it up, but that serve got just a little bit too deep, close to the net. And that is another point for the Wildcats, now 20-14. The Wildcats were the first to 20 here in the second. They took the first one, 25-19. We'll see if the Tetons can prevent NDSCS from winning 2 straight. And Coach Mooter looks like she's getting ready to call timeout. And she is indeed calling timeout on the American State scoreboard. Williston State College trails by 6 to NDSCS, 20-14. We'll be back for more of the second set here in 60 seconds.
From their humble beginnings in 1910 through 4 generations, family-owned First International Bank and Trust has been delivering on the promise to help dreams come true, one customer at a time. Their style of banking places the focus on you first and your overall experience, keeping your best interests in mind and striving to provide smart financial solutions that improve and simplify your life, letting you get back to what matters most. First International Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Earning your degree doesn't mean putting your life on hold. Williston State College offers a wide array of associate and associate of applied science programs that fit your busy lifestyle. They are flexible, convenient, and career-focused to what your goals are, and taught by experienced and engaged faculty. With 13 CTE and 15 academic programs, you can take classes fully online to meet the demands of life on the farm, in the patch, or simply raising a family.
Williston State College, where the people make the difference. Please visit online at willistonstate.edu/apply.
Mike Ritter back here for Teton Volleyball. Here comes a serve over. Tetons receive. Mullins with the kill. That's going to be blocked to the net, but it goes out of bounds. Side out for the Tetons, and that will make it now 20-15. Tetons, they need to go on a 10-3 run to finish this one in regulation. Alexis Moline back to serve. She'll come up with the jump serve, sends it over, back to the back row to Johnson. Set from Wendell, outside attack, and that's kept alive by Henley. Mullins over to Oliver, she'll send it over. Oliver sends it wide, another point for the Wildcats, now 21-15. Tetons looking to do anything they can to fall into a huge 0-2 hole here throughout the first 2 sets. They'll need to prevent the Wildcats from getting their next 4 points. Back to serve, number 3, Peyton Foster for Science. Here comes Foster's first serve. That'll be a rocket to Restrepo. Moline over to Mullins. Blocked at the net. Kept alive by the Wildcats. Here comes a set from Mulligan. And that's going to be a point for the Tetons. And a double hit by Mulligan called by the up judge. And that'll make it 21-16. Sub coming in. Timmermans and Pospisil will be checking in. That'll mean Maya Pospisil will be back to serve. We'll see if she can go on a lengthy service run. And if they can get some sets over to Timmermans on the outside for some points. Pospisil going right down Main Street. Here she goes, lets one loose. A big serve got by Johnson. Here comes the middle touch, partially blocked, and Moline can't quite get there after the touch at the net by Restrepo and Mullins. 4-point number 22 for Science. Sub coming in, Johnson going out for Science. Coming back in is Gostovich. And back to serve is number 5, Samantha Cole. Cole takes her dribble. She'll run into one, then fly over. That one's going to be wide. Pospisil laid a little bit of Olay defense on there. Let it go at just the last second. That'll be point number 17. Tetons within striking range if they can go on a run here. Alyssa Oliver back to serve. She'll take a quick second to tie her shoe before we get back to action. Tetons looking to play scrappy. Here comes the next serve from Oliver. Here another jump serve. She's late to get into it, and that's a service error for Williston State as it hit into the net. Oliver looked like she was a little bit indecisive when she was coming up whether to go with a slow serve or a jump serve. That'll hand it off to Stigora. Stigora half step into it, sends it across. Timmermans over to Moline. Attack on the middle, and that is an absolute banger off the dome. Timmermans with an emphatic kill. And that's the type of play that the Tetons needed to light a fire underneath them. That hit right off the face of number 5, Samantha Cole. So Timmermans, a very powerful striker from the outside, gets it done. Restrepo on the serve now from the Tetons. 23-18. Here comes a big serve. Misplayed a little bit by Science. That's going to be blocked but kept alive by the Wildcats. Middle attack, push. Restrepo is going to hit it off, but it hits off her forearms, and she can't quite keep it in play. And that'll be point number 24 for the Wildcats. They need one more point, so for the second straight point, the Wildcats have set point on the Tetons, 24-18 on the American State Bank scoreboard. Wendell back to serve. She sends the first one over. Oliver to Moline. Outside. Timmermans. Little touch, and that one's going to be kept alive by Mogan. A big attack coming for the Wildcats. Moline outside to Turcotte, and Turcotte's going to have it dug out of there. Mogan with the bump set. Here comes a jump and attack from Gostovich, kept alive. Here Timmerman from the outside. She'll push it over. Dug up by the Wildcats. Mogan, big attack coming, blocked at the net. Oliver keeps it alive. Restrepo bumps it up. Attack from Timmerman. She'll push it over. Kept alive by, once again, the back row. Big attack, and that one's going to be kept alive by Pospisil, but it'll go just wide of Timmermans, who's unable to keep it in. And that will be the end of set number 2. Williston State falls in 2 straight. This one by the final of 25-18. Tetons will now have to win 3 in a row to take this best-of-5 set. So it's do or die the rest of the way for the Tetons. We're going to step aside for a 2.5-minute break. When we come back, we'll have set number 3 here from the Well in Williston.
Performance Plus, something new from American State Bank and Trust Company. An account that fits your active lifestyle. Free digital banking services including bill pay, remote deposit, and e-statements. An instant issue debit card, limited ATM fee refunds, and no maintenance fees. Go to ASBC.com for terms and conditions and stop in our Main or North offices to open your new Performance Plus account. Banking the American State way. Banking your way with Performance Plus. Member FDIC.
When you're looking for a new or a different home, seek the counsel of the professionals at Basin Brokers. Basin Brokers has offices in Honeywood, Montana, Watford City, and Williston. The realtors at Basin Brokers know the market and will help you find the home that fits your requirements and budget. They're happy to answer all your questions about the area. The real estate office you want to know is Basin Brokers in Watford City, Honeywood, and Williston. Find them online at basinbrokers.com.
On Sundays, your NFL team is always playing at Buffalo Wild Wings with 63 HD TVs having the NFL package. You'll not miss a minute of action. Enjoy wings, salads, sandwiches, and more as the team takes the field. Come in and fan up while enjoying the variety of beers on tap from kickoff to the final whistle. Located at 417 Ringer Drive in Williston, North Dakota. Football lives here. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beers, sports.
Of all your choices for a financial institution, clearly the best is the West. Western Cooperative Credit Union is money done the Western way. WCCU provides you with good old-fashioned Western hospitality. Every time you walk through our doors, we treat you like neighbors ought to treat each other. Because that's just who we are, neighbors. So head west. You'll know you're here when you see the bison on our side. Join the herd at Western Cooperative Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
McDonald's of Williston is proud to support all the Williston State Teton athletic teams and would like to wish them success this season. McDonald's would like to thank the community of Williston and the surrounding area for your patronage over the years. Hey, the next time you're in town, stop by McDonald's for a great meal or a quick snack. McDonald's of Williston. Breakfast, lunch, or dessert, come on into McDonald's of Williston. Proud to be a part of Teton Athletics and proud to be part of the Williston community.
Mike Cooter back here for Teton Volleyball on 660 Keys News Radio. Entering set number 3, the Tetons have a 2-0 deficit on sets. They'll be serving first. Alexis Moline ready to go. Here's the whistle and the serve. Moline to the back row. That'll be dug out by the Wildcats. A big attack blocked by Mullins. They can't quite keep it. And once again, Stagora right there for the kill. She has been a force on the front line. And a front line that is speckled with highlight plays for this Science team. Teton looking to try and figure it out. Back to serve Abby Johnson for the Wildcats. She made her debut in the second set. Now here to start the third. Johnson will run into one. Lets one fly to the back row. Restrepo gets it. Moline over to Mullins. Mullins pushes it. There's Johnson with a great dig out there. And Mulligan with another save outside. It's going to go. Touched by Mullins. She somehow keeps it alive to Moline. Oliver sends it across to the back row. Johnson right there. In the middle, it will go to Foster. Big attack in the middle by Stigora. And that is an emphatic kill. And the Tetons looking to find their footing here in the third. They trail early, 2-0. Johnson back to serve one more time. They're going to have to try to get some early points in rallies to keep it away from Stigora and company. Johnson with the next serve. That'll be back to Restrepo. Moline back to Restrepo for the kill. Off fingertips. Johnson with a one-handed save. Bumped up by Foster. Touched over. There's Hanlon for to Barta. Barta gets it over with a save. On the outside will be a touch attack. Oliver the one-handed save. Moline now to Barta. Free ball sent over. Johnson comes up to get it. Here comes a set from Foster. Middle attack again. And Stigora gets another point for the Wildcats. Up to 3-0. Now Tetons will have to make a move here early in this third before they get the weight of this 2-0 hole and buries them deep, trying to avoid being swept at home. Johnson with her next serve. Little lollipop over, and that'll be a service error. Tetons get a point, and importantly, get the serve back. So in comes the Pospisil and Timmerman set. Out goes Hanley and Barta. So as they're waiting, and Alyssa Oliver, once again, she's dealing with her left shoe. Not sure if there's an issue with the shoe, but she's adjusted that now 3-4 times as Pospisil is ready to go. Here comes a jump serve from Maya Laser that gets down there. Johnson with the dig. Foster, the outsider will go. Attack from Cole. Kept alive by Pospisil. Moline pushes it to the back corner off the hand of Johnson and in there for a point. Tetons cut the lead in half. Now 4-2 on the American State Bank scoreboard. Pospisil trying to light a fire under this Teton crew and do it from the service line. And an extra ball on the court. Now we're ready to go. Pospisil looking over at Coach Marquardt to get the sign. Now she's ready to go. Here comes the serve, Tetons, and there's going to be a rotation violation for this Wildcat team. And now the floor judge is having a quick word with them, making sure they know what they have going on. Well, at that point now, scoreboard now says 3-3. We'll have to wait and see if we get a correction on that one. Should be 4-3. The Tetons up or trailing by one. Pospisil back to serve. Here comes the service from Maya. Out to Johnson. Foster in the middle is going to go. Touched out. Pospisil there with the dig. Oliver over to Timmermans. Free ball comes over. Johnson right there. She'll set it up. Foster. Here comes an outside attack, and that one gets down there. A huge heavy attack from Houff on the outside. So the front row once again coming up huge for this Wildcat team. And that'll put Stigora on the service line. Scoreboard now has 4-3, so we'll go with that until they make a correction if they do. Stigora with a flat-footed serve, gets over to Pospisil. Moline onto the outside to Restrepo, off some fingertips, dug out there by Stigora. Here comes a set and a little touch attack. That's going to be saved by Pospisil into the net, but no one can come up and save it in time. And that now makes it 5-3. They do make the correction. Coach Passa for the Wildcats not happy with some defensive rotations on that one. She came just about onto the court. Stigora again for a serve. Line drive. Oliver right there. Moline outside. Timmermans with an offhanded hit gets in there. And she hit that off the knife edge of her hand. Had a bunch of English. Went away from the blockers. Was able to get in there for a point. Williston State back within one. 5-4. Alyssa Oliver back to serve. Turcotte in for Mullins. Here comes the Oliver serve. Into the jump. He'll get down to the back row. There's Mulligan. Gets it. Set to Foster. Outside attack. Dug out by Oliver. Moline. We're going to go to Restrepo. She sends it over into a campfire. And that was in front of 4 defenders for the Wildcats. So that was Restrepo getting a little crafty on the outside, keeping it away from those middle blockers. That'll even things up at 5 apiece here in the third. Oliver back to serve once again. She'll run into the jump serve, sends it flying. That one's going to get down there, shanked a little bit, kept alive. Here comes the middle touch attack over, set long by the Wildcats and Stahlborger. So Tetons on the high side by 1, 6-5. Now they're looking to put their foot on the gas to see if they can't stretch this lead out and at least go to 4, hopefully 5. They want to come from behind, trailing 2-0. Next serve from Oliver Johnson with a diving dig. Outside attack coming. That one's going to be sent wide by the Wildcats. So Wildcats attacking a little bit out of sorts the last couple of plays. They haven't been as sharp here in this third set as they were in the first two defensively. We'll see if the Tetons can take advantage of that. Oliver to serve one more time. Here she comes. Runs into a jump serve. She'll send a lollipop over. There's Mulligan to get it. Middle set. Here comes outside. Big block, but that's going to be in there for a kill from Cole. And Cole gets a big side out for the Wildcats, and a couple of subs are coming in. Into the game is coming Wendell as well as Boomsma. Wendell will go back to serve. Out is going Foster as well as we'll see who the last one out is. Out is Houff. Here comes a serve from Wendell. Right to Pospisil. Moline into the middle to Turcotte. Turcotte's going to send it down off the hands of Mulligan, and that'll be another Teton point. So a quick side out and extend the lead back to 2. 8-6 on the American State Bank scoreboard. Sarita Restrepo to serve. Southpaw lines herself up. She gets a big head of steam on these serves. Jump into one, sends it down there, off the tip of the net. Johnson shanks it, but her teammates are able to recover. Outside attack, right to Restrepo. Moline keeps it alive. It'll go over, but out of bounds. So a bit of a reactionary save by Moline. And the Tetons rally up, now back to a 1-point Williston State lead. Another sub coming in. Johnson going out. Back in is Kostovich. And to the line is Samantha Cole for Science. Cole taking her dribbles. She'll run into one, send it flying over to the back row. Restrepo, Moline. It's going to go to Timmermans. Misplayed the set a little bit. A little confusion by the Wildcats. Blocked to the net, but the Tetons can't push it back over. That'll get down, tie things up at 8 apiece. And this one is going to be a good one. Tetons looking to take advantage and take their first set of the day. Currently knotted up at 8 apiece. Next serve coming from Cole. She'll send a line drive over to Pospisil. Moline will send it over and one. That'll get down. A great thought by Alexis Moline. And she knew that one had the opportunity to sneak it past the defense, and she did for the point. And the Tetons back to serve. Michelle Hanley, freshly checked in with Tristan Bardo, will be back to serve. Henley now takes her dribbles. Looking to send one down range. He runs into the jump serve. Here it comes to the back row. Set in the middle from Wendell. Back-footed outside attack, and the Tetons got caught flat-footed on that one. And they were caught watching the action a little bit, as that was a misplay a little bit by Stahlborger, but she got enough to get it across the net and down in front of every Teton defender. Serve from Mulligan, sends it across. Restrepo gets it. Moline outside to Turcotte. Turcotte gets it in there. Slips it between 3 defenders. And we're back up on top by 1, 10-9. Good guys on the high side. And that'll bring out of the game Alyssa Oliver. She'll get a quick breather. Coming in for her is Madeline Mullins and JC Turcotte to serve. Serve to the back row. Set in the middle for Wendell. That'll be down there. Great serve by Turcotte. Henley with the bump. Barta from the outside of the attack. Kept alive by Mulligan. Scrambling are the Wildcats. They get it back to Turcotte. Here's Moline outside. Barta with the attack. It's blocked to the net. Kept alive over there by Boomsma. Set in the middle. Outside attack again. Blocked to the net, but out of bounds it goes. And that'll be a tie ball game once again. 10-10 here in the third. And there will be a change coming for both teams. Turcotte coming out. Oliver coming back in. And going back to serve after checking in is Peyton Foster. Foster at the service line, taking her dribbles. She'll run up, let one go. That'll be over to Restrepo. Misplays a little bit here outside to Mullins. Mullins going to have it dug out by Mulligan. Set in the middle, running outside attack. Touched at the net. Hanley over to Barta. Barta with a push, and that's going to get down off the fingertips of Houff, and that one went straight down after it touched them. Tetons back up on top by 1, 11-10. Tetons have been playing the Wildcats close through the first 3 sets until about this point. We'll see if they can hold on to their precarious 1-point lead. Moline with the serve to the back row it goes. Set in the middle. A big block on the middle, but it stays on the Teton side. Oliver sends it over in 2. Here's a set in the middle. Outside attack. Hanley with a huge dig. Oliver keeps it alive. And there is Moline. Sends it across. Set in the middle is going to go to Wendell. Another middle attack, and that's going to be kept alive by Mullins. Great block and a recovery by Mullins. Another middle attack. Barta keeps it alive on the dig. Pushed over. Here comes the Wildcats once again. Mulligan sends it over. Blocked by the Tetons. Here comes another push. Oliver right there. Moline to the outside. Restrepo with a big attack. Kept alive. Now Mulligan gets it up one more time. Serve going to go. A little miscommunication. Over to Oliver. She mishits it. Now over to Hanley. Keeps it alive to Barta on the outside. Sends it down for a Teton point. What a rally. And the crowd roars here in the Well in Williston. Tetons on the high side. In those long rallies, the Tetons, if they can get those, huge shifts of momentum can happen. And that's where the defense that Coach Mooter is so high on comes into play. Moline again with another serve. Line drive right along the line. They'll get onto the outside. Is it a push attack? Oliver tries to keep it alive after it's touched on the block. And the Tetons give the serve right back down to a 1-point game. 12-11 on the American State Bank scoreboard. Johnson back into the game for Science. She'll take the place of Gosevich and go back to the service line. Johnson runs up, lets one fly. That'll be back to Restrepo. Here comes Moline to Mullins. Sends one down. Mullins with an easy kill. 6-2 skies and sends it home for another Teton point. Back up by 2. And the mood and the energy level for Williston State has definitely improved over the last 2 minutes. We'll see if they can take advantage. Henley and Barta out. Pospisil and Timmermans back in. Maya back to serve once again for the Tetons. Here she goes. She'll run into the jump serve. Send one fly to Johnson. Keeps it alive in the middle. Go to Foster. And that'll be attack into the net. Misplayed by Cole. Another Teton point. They're up by 3, 14-11. Their largest lead of the day. And Pospisil back again to serve. He looks to go on a big run for the Tetons. Maya runs into one. Here comes the jump serve on the way. That's going to be shanked by Johnson. Kept alive by Cole. Free ball over from Mulligan. Here's a set in the middle. Timmermans just has to push it over after the misplayed set. Here's a middle attack blocked in the middle, and that one's going to be kept alive somehow by the Wildcats. A long outside attack. Pospisil, Moline, Restrepo with the push, and that's going to get down there. Restrepo with a little bit of finesse. Gets it in there for another Teton point. They're up by 4, 15-11, and there's a Wildcat timeout. They want to talk about some things. We'll talk about some things as well. Back after this 60-second timeout.
Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any Coke fan, so make sure you... Jim.
Ooh, yes, this tastes like the best Coke ever to me. Your thoughts, Jen?
Well, can I have a sip?
Jen, we're in the middle of reporting the news.
You don't have to drive hundreds of miles to get a great deal on a new or used vehicle. Price, sell, cars, at Williston Auto. We're in the business of beating the deal from any dealer. Go ahead, shop around from Bismarck to Philly. Then bring us their best deal. We'll squish it like a sponge and feed it like a rented mule. No animals are in expiration related to this commercial. Price, sell, cars, at Williston Auto at WillistonAuto.com. See dealer for details.
Mike Ruder back here for Teton Volleyball on 60s to Keys News Radio. Tetons have their largest lead of the day, 4 points, 15-11. Maya Pospisil back to serve once again. Tetons have been swarming defensively and getting the job done offensively. We'll see if they can continue that and try to extend this game out to 5. Serve from Pospisil, dug out by Mulligan. Here comes an attack. That's going to get down, and a point for Science off the hand of Samantha Cole. That'll make it 15-12 and sends Kaylee Stigora back to the service line. Stigora, the 6-foot freshman, takes about a half a step and sends one downrange. Here comes her first serve. She'll send one to the back row. Oliver takes it. Moline to the outside to Restrepo. That one's going to get down past Stigora for another Teton point. They get it back quickly now, 16-12 on the American State Bank scoreboard. Stigora comes out of the game in for Mulligan. Mullins comes out in for Turcotte. And back to serve is Alyssa Oliver. Oliver at the service line. She'll take a peek over at her coaches. Now to the jump serve on the way. Loops over Johnson there with the reception. Foster on the outside. Pospisil just misplayed the huge outside attack from Hauff. And that's down there for another Science point, 16-13. Tetons have been playing bend but don't break here the last about 2 or 5 minutes or so. And they need to put the hammer down if they want to come away with this one against a very, very tough Science team. Wendell at the service line. She'll send the first one on. Timmerman's right there. Moline over to Timmerman. She pokes it up, just avoids the net violation. Turcotte keeps it alive after it's sent back over. Restrepo with the kill. Get past Johnson in there for another Teton point. 17-13. Tetons can smell 20 and 25 coming shortly if they can keep this momentum their way. Here comes Restrepo at the service line. She'll take her dribbles. Run into one and let it fly. That'll go down in there. Set up on the middle from Wendell. Outside attack, and that's going to be down for a Teton point off the hands of Turcotte. So back to 3 points. Back and forth we go. Neither team willing to budge an inch here. The Tetons holding on to the high side. Coming back into the game for Johnson is Gostevich for NDSCS. Next serve on the way from Science. It's going to go. Taken by Restrepo. Moline out to Timmerman, and she sends it across court. Dug out by Wendell. Set in the middle. Here comes the big attack on the outside by Stagora. Turned away by the Tetons. Middle attack. Right there is Restrepo to take it. Moline to Timmerman. Big attack by Timmerman. Pinballs around. Point for the Tetons. Back up by 4. 18-14. Williston State now making a couple substitutions. In comes Hanley and Barta. Those two will be coming back into the game. Henley back to the service line. She'll look to put this one to bed here, 18-14. So the sophomore taking her time, getting the right feel, and she'll send one down for the Tetons. Here comes Michelle's serve on the way. That one's going to be right past the line, and instant replay would have showed how close that one was by about a half an inch out of bounds. So a quick service error will give the ball back to the Wildcats. Still a 3-point Teton lead, 18-15. Rain Mogan set to serve. She'll send one on. Right there, Hanley takes it. Over to Moline, outside. Turcotte sends it across. Dug out by Wendell. Here comes a set. Outside attack, and there's going to be a point for the Tetons. And a double hit called on Mogan. That's her second double hit called of the day. Now back up by 4 are the Tetons, 19-15. J.C. Turcotte set to serve. He's waiting. Now Turcotte comes in. Flat-footed serve, goes across like a bullet. Over the front row to Wendell. Middle attack, and that's going to be by Stagora. Gets a quick point back. Back and forth we go. 19-16. Tetons on top. Coming out is Turcotte. In is Oliver. And a couple of subs coming in for Science. One of them is going to be at the service line right now. That will be Peyton Foster checking back into the game. Foster runs into one. She'll let one fly. Over to Restrepo. Moline touches it over. Right there is Foster to take it. Mogan with the set. Outside attack blocked by the Tetons. Foster again. Here comes a backwards attack from the Wildcats. Moline to Barta with the kill. Set up on the back row. Foster to the outside. That one's going to get through. And Stagora again with the kill. That'll make it just a 2-point game, 19-17. So back to serve is number 3, Peyton Foster. Wildcats trying to mount a comeback here late in the third set. Foster sends one over. Hanley receives. Moline, and that one's going to be a miscommunication. Mullins thought someone was behind her on the pump set. No one home. And that's now going to make it a 1-point game, 19-18. Coach Mooter wants a timeout, so we'll take one as well. We'll be back for more Teton volleyball in 60 seconds.
G&G Pharmacy, an independent, locally owned retail pharmacy committed to providing you top-notch customer service from their friendly, fast, and knowledgeable staff. Open 7 days a week. G&G Pharmacy offers the convenience of a drive-through window and a traditional retail store. Melissa and Doug toys available at their downtown service drug location. And no more wondering when your prescription's ready. Use the mobile app or receive a text message when it's ready from G&G Pharmacy. 572-RXRX. That's 572-7979.
From their humble beginnings in 1910 through 4 generations, family-owned First International Bank and Trust has been delivering on the promise to help dreams come true, one customer at a time. Their style of banking places the focus on you first and your overall experience. keeping your best interests in mind and striving to provide smart financial solutions that improve and simplify your life, letting you get back to what matters most. First International Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Mike Rooter back here for Teton Volleyball. Peyton Foster with the serve. Henley right there for the dig. Moline over to Bardo with a huge kill. Tetons at 20 to 18. 5 points away from taking home their first set of the day. They're looking to extend this one as long as they can. See if they can't extend this one to 5 and sneak out a come from behind victory. Alexis Moline on the serve. Mulligan sends it and misplays it. It'll go down there as a big shank from Mulligan, and that'll make it 21 to 18. 4 points away from taking the set. Moline back on the service line. Tetons have led most of the way. Here comes a big serve from Moline. In the back row, up to Foster, outside, push attack, and that's going to be a carry called on the Wildcats. And Wildcats are going to call a timeout. We'll take one as well. Tetons 3 points away from taking the set. We'll be back in 60.
On Sundays, your NFL team is always playing at Buffalo Wild Wings. With 63 HD TVs having the NFL package, you will not miss a minute of action. Enjoy wings, salads, sandwiches, and more as the teams take the field. Come in and fan up while enjoying the variety of beers on tap from kickoff to the final whistle. Located at 417 Rieger Drive in Williston, North Dakota, football lives here. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
Performance Plus, something new from American State Bank and Trust Company, an account that fits your active lifestyle. Free digital banking services including bill pay, remote deposit, and e-statements. An instant issue debit card, limited ATM fee refunds, and no maintenance fees. Go to ASCT.com for terms and conditions and stop in our Main or North offices to open your new Performance Plus account. Thank you, the American State Bank. Banking your way with Performance Plus.
Mike Rooter back here for Teton Volleyball on 660. Just before we got back, a serve from Alexis Moline, but the Wildcats were able to get it together, and Stigora with a huge middle kill to make it 22-19. Johnson back to serve for Science. She sends one on its way. Hanley with the dig. It's going to be put up, and that'll be at the net, and there's going to be a net violation that'll give the point to Science. They're going to call it double hit on the Tetons. All right, we'll go with it. Didn't see the double hit on Bardo, who the call could have only been on. So that'll be 22-20, 2-point game. Johnson with another serve. Restrepo with the dig. Pushed up, outside attack, and they're going to call it double hit again. On this time, they'll call it on Moline. So that'll make it just a 1-point set. 22-21, Tetons will need to hunker down defensively not to let this one slip away. Next serve from Johnson to Restrepo. Moline there with a good set. Restrepo from the outside, touched off fingertips, down for a Teton point. 2 more points needed to take the set. 23-21. Henley and Barta checking out. Pospisil and Timmermans coming in. A pair of dynamic duels for the Tetons, and that'll put Pospisil back to the line. So now it'll be Pospisil taking her dribbles. She'll run into one. Tetons needing 2 more. Johnson receives the serve. Here comes the set from Foster outside, and that one's going to be down there. Tetons keep it alive. Mullins pushes it over again. Foster with the set. Free ball coming over from the Wildcats. Oliver, Moline, out to Timmermans with authority for the point. Tetons are at set point. 24-21. Sam Timmermans shows up huge in crunch time for the Tetons, looking to extend it to a 4 set. Maya Pospisil with a chance to send it to number 4 here on this serve. Maya will run into one. Here comes a serve on the way. Gets across. Johnson bumps it up. Here comes another bump on the way. Across it goes from Cole. Kept alive. Pospisil. Oliver. Restrepo. Restrepo's blocked to the net. Goes over onto the Wildcats side. Almost a double hit by the Wildcats. Timmermans receives it on the bump. Moline pushes it back corner. Johnson there for the save and the dig. Foster into the middle. That'll be caught up by Moline. Bumped by Oliver. Timmermans for the victory. No, it goes. Kept alive. Mulligan back to Forrester. Outside touch. It'll go, and a little bit of a miscommunication for the Tetons. And that'll give the ball and the point to Science. Now 24-22. Tetons need 1 stop to force set number 4. And to serve, it will be number 16, Kaylee Stigora. Stagora, half step, serve on the way. That'll be over to Oliver. Moline onto the outside. Timmermans missed. Had to go and just bump it over. Here comes a middle attack, and that'll get down off of a touch for the Tetons. 1 point game, 24-23. Tetons still up by 1. They're looking to hold on as Dakota heads back to the service line. At this point, the Wildcats will need to get to 26 to take this one. Tetons can take it with a stop right here. Here comes the serve out to Timmermans. Moline with the set over to Restrepo. She touches it over. It's going to be blocked by the Wildcats. They push it over. Mullins bumps it over again. Here comes a back bump. Johnson up again. Over on the attack from Houff. Oliver right there. Over to Timmermans on the touch attack. That one's going to pinball around. Kept alive by the Wildcats. They push it over. Oliver on the dig. Moline outside. Timmermans with the attack. And that's going to be out of bounds and a net violation by Timmermans and the Tetons. And we're all tied up at 24. Now it's a race to 26, and Tetons are going to call a timeout. So this one, Tetons needed one stop, and they had a little bit of breathing room. The Wildcats not willing to go away, and they want to take a three-set sweep over the Tetons. So now it is a race to 26. We're going to go as soon as anyone holds a 2-point advantage. We're just going to keep it right here for Teton Volleyball. We won't step away to miss any of the action. So Tetons looking to take their first set on the day. They trail 2-0, so they are in win-or-go-home mode. Their next action will be up on September 12th. That'll be on the road against Dawson Community College. And then the next day, they'll be on the road at Miles Community College. We'll have those games right here on 660 Keys News Radio, as we'll have every in-state and conference game, along with some select non-conference out-of-state games for tournament time on 660 Keys News Radio. Next serve from Stagora on the way. Oliver with the dig. Moline to Restrepo. She's going to be blocked, but Mullins gets it over. Here comes Johnson. Gets it up in the middle. Foster. Outside attack blocked by the Tetons. Point gets down. Huge send over by the Tetons. Block can't get it, or the block by the Tetons sends it back over, and the Wildcats can't recover. Now Tetons on the offensive end with a chance to end this one 26-24 if Alyssa Oliver can get the next point for Williston State. Oliver, she'll run into one. Here comes a jump serve. Sends it over, and a net violation will knot it up at 25 apiece. Second net violation, or service error for Alyssa Oliver on the day. Back to the service line. Riley Houff to serve. She served infrequently here today. Looks like there's a little confusion, but the Wildcats Houff will serve it around. Oliver with the dig. Moline to Timmermans right down Main Street. She's blocked. Oliver with the dig. Moline back to Restrepo and mistimed it. She had to bump it over. Kept alive. Here comes an outside attack, and that one will get down off the hands of Samantha Cole. And now it is the Wildcats with set and match point. They need 1 point to sweep the Tetons, and Williston State will need 2 points to take this one to a fourth set. Houff coming out of the game. Into serve is Laura Green. So Green will be back to serve for Science. Chance to win the game for the Wildcats. Here comes the serve. That'll be over to Pospisil. Diggs. Moline to Turcotte. Turcotte is going to have it pinball around. Somehow the Wildcats keep it alive. Pospisil. Moline to the outside. Timmerman with a push. Johnson keeps it up. Green somehow keeps it alive. Mulligan keeps it alive. Over to Oliver. Here's going to be a set to Restrepo. She pumps it over. Mulligan with the dig. Sent up to Forrester. On's going to be a push over to Pospisil. Keeps it alive. Restrepo now to Oliver. She'll send it to the back row. Green bumps it up. Forrester. Here comes an outside running attack. Restrepo there keeps it alive. Moline with a push. Over to Green, who bumps it up. Now back to Forrester. Outside attack over to Cole. That's going to be blocked to the net. Tetons get it down. Tied at 26. Williston State not willing to go down easy here in this one. So Tetons now will need 2 straight to win this one here in extra time in the third set. Chance to go to a fourth set. Well, they'll need to win the fourth and the fifth. But first, they need to get 2 in a row. To Rita Restrepo, the southpaw, ready to send one down range. Here's the big jump serve. On it goes to the back row. Forrester on the outside to Cole. Oliver digs it out there. Pospisil to Timmermans. Timmermans with the attack. Johnson off her fingertips gets it up. Mulligan on the outside to Cole. There's Restrepo. Moline to Timmermans with the push. Johnson right there. That'll get into the net. Somehow kept alive. Green pushes it over. Set up. Now it's going to be over to Turcotte's going to be blocked, and the point will go to the Wildcats. We'll once again have set and match point. Teton's a little frenetic there, trying to get their sets, and that's something they'll be looking to work on here in the days and weeks to come before, as the season gets now into conference play for everyone. Back to serve will be number 5, Samantha Cole. Cole will run into one, let one go. There's going to be Restrepo, keeps it alive. Moline out to Timmermans, flat-footed, leaning a little bit backward, sends it across. Foster, here comes the outside. Pospisil saves the game and the set. They're going to be set down by Moline. Off the dig by Pospisil. Moline sends it down. We're tied at 27. Tetons not willing to go away. Timmermans and Pospisil coming out of the game. Hanley and Barda checking in, and that'll send Michelle Hanley back to the service line for Williston State. Tetons once again need 2 more. They've been playing catch-up here the last couple of points, looking to break even with Science. Now at 27, looking to get back on the high side. Here comes the first serve from Hanley. Forrester in the middle. That'll be off the fingertips of Restrepo past Hanley, and that'll be point number 28. So again, Tetons on the precipice of being swept, and Rain Mulligan will be back at the service line. Also checking back in, Stragora back in the middle. Here comes Mulligan, dug out by Restrepo, bumped up. Turcotte pushes it from the outside. He dug up. Foster over to over to Stragoro, and she gets it down with authority. Tetons end up getting swept in this one, the third one by the final of 27-29. The Tetons fought valiantly in this one, but they ended up falling in straight sets. We're going to step away for a 1-minute timeout. We'll be back for the First International Bank and Trust postgame show right here on 660 Keys News Radio.
Earning your degree doesn't mean putting your life into it. Williston State College offers a wide array of associate and applied science programs that fit your busy lifestyle. They are flexible, convenient, and career-focused with what your goals are, and taught by experienced and engaged faculty. With 13 CTE and 15 academic programs, you can take classes fully online to meet the demands of life on the farm, in the patch, or simply raising a family.
Williston State College, where the people make the difference. Please visit online at wilistonstate.edu/apply.
So you need a new vehicle. You've done your homework, and a new Honda would be perfect. Reliable, fuel-efficient, stylish, perfect. But where do you go? Why not your hometown Honda dealer? Ryan Honda at Ryan Motors in Williston. We have a nice selection of affordable new Hondas, and when it comes time for service, Ryan Honda's authorized Honda Service Center will keep your Honda running its fastest for years. Come see us today, your full-service hometown Honda dealership, Ryan Honda at Ryan Motors in Williston, or shop RyanHonda.net.
Mike Ritter back here for Teton Volleyball on 660 Keys News Radio. It's the First International Bank and Trust post-game show right here on 660. Keybirds fall in this one. They now go to 1-2 in conference play, and they fall behind. They fall back down the standings. They actually fall even with Miles Community College, who is 1-2 in conference play. NDSCS stays perfect in conference, and they now are on the top of the heap, as waiting to see if other results come in, but for momentarily, they're ahead of Bismarck State College as the top team in the conference, and they played like that today. They didn't let anything slow them down. The Tetons played very, very well for the most part. A couple little hiccups here and there, but it was Science with a very solid team inside and out. The Tetons come up against a very tough competition. They showed that they can hang, and they'll look to build on it and work when these two teams meet up again in October. It'll be an early October matchup, and they'll look to get it done on the road in Wahpeton. So Tetons fall in 3 straight sets. Lots of positives to take away from that one. Good ball movement, good hard work from the Tetons, and they didn't get inside their own head even when they fell down, but they'll have to work to figure some things out, especially when they have a huge attacking unit that the Science team had, led by Kylie Stagora. Not sure, we'll have to wait and see how many kills and how many blocks she got. Seems like every play that she was on the court, she was a factor somewhere. So the Tetons looking to rebuild and regroup. They'll be in play next week when they are on the road against Dawson and then Miles in back-to-back days, their first conference road test of the season. We'll have to see how they fare. Catch all those games right here on 660 Keys News Radio. We're going to take a 30-second timeout. When we come back, we'll have the Williston Auto Player of the Game.
When you're looking for a new or a different home, seek the counsel of the professionals at Basin Brokers. Basin Brokers. You said 30 seconds, right?
Yep.
The Basin Brokers know the market and will help you find the home that fits your requirements and budget. They're happy to answer all your questions about the area. The real estate office you want to know is Basin Brokers in Watford City, Honeywood, and Williston. Find them online at basinbrokers.com.
Mike Ruder back here for Teton Volleyball on 660 Keys News Radio. Time now to announce the Williston Auto Player of the Game. And that'll go to the libero for the Tetons, number 5, Alyssa Oliver. She was all over the place defensively in that back row for Williston State, as well as with her addition of a jump serve on the service line. And she was a big threat for the Tetons, as well as one of the reasons that they hung in there with all 3 sets with a very powerful Science team. So congratulations to Alyssa being named Williston Auto Player of the Game. And now Tetons will have the rest of the week off before next week. They'll be on the road in Dawson on the 12th and then in Miles on the 13th. And we'll have both of those games right here on 660. That's going to be it for this edition of Teton Volleyball right here on 660 Keys News Radio. I'd like to thank Jaden back at the station for keeping us on the air and sounding good, as well as all of you for tuning in to this and every edition of Teton Athletics right here on 660 Keys News Radio and the Williston State Tetons YouTube channel. Until next time, sports fans, I'm Mike Ruder.
Thank you for joining us for Williston State College Teton Athletics. Teton basketball and hockey sounds even better on 660 Keys News Radio and Town Square Media.